Scenes from a Perfect World.
You must be tired, Billy. You had a big day today.
I'm not tired, Dad.
Well, I'm surprised. You swam practically the whole Gulf of Mexico today.
Yeah, Grandpa. I didn't know the Gulf of Mexico was so big. It's as big as Lake Michigan.
You could fit 20 Lake Michigans into the Gulf of Mexico.
Really, Grandpa?
Padre Island sure was beautiful.
But I still like Bradford Beach the best.
Me too. I like to watch the volleyball players. Dad.
What was the name of the town again?
What town?
Where we just were. By the beach on the Gulf.
Oh, that's Corpus Christi, Texas.
Oh, yeah, right. And where are we going next?
Monterrey, Mexico. You're writing all this down in your journal, eh, Billy?
Yep.
Well, that's a nice cursive you've got there. Good penmanship. You know, when I was a boy, they didn't even teach us cursive. I barely even learned to print. We typed everything on devices.
That's weird. Things sure were f***ed up when you were a kid, Grandpa.
Well, yes, they were pretty f***ed up, all right. For instance, my folks and I never got to travel like we do now. Why, Billy, you've been around half the world already.
Everybody travels.
Not in my day. It was too expensive.
Oh, right, money.
Well, that's right, money. Dad.
Hey, Dad, I'm hungry. The food car is right next door. I'm gonna go get something to eat. You want anything?
No thanks, Billy.
How about you, Grandpa?
Well, sure, thanks. A hot dog.
With hot mustard.
Oh, you guys. So, Pat, how much further to Monterey? Well, let's see. The next town is McAllen, so about 250 kilometers. No more than 45 minutes, I'd say. We'll spend the day tomorrow and then head back home tomorrow night. How long will that take? Back to Milwaukee? Oh, 5-6 hours at the most. We'll be home in time to get a good night's sleep. McAllen, Texas? Say, that's where the memorial and museum is. You know, for the Trump camps. Maybe we should stop on our way back and pay our respects. That's a good idea, but I don't think Billy's quite ready for that. Oh, Pat, you're always so protective of the boy. He's got to learn the unpleasant things of history too, you know. Never again. Of course, I know. Maybe next time. Not this time, okay? Oh, all right.
Here you go, Grandpa. They didn't have hot mustard.
Well, what's this?
La salchicha, a pancho with avocado, bacon, and pico de gallo.
Well, look at that. Pico de gallo, just like Baco makes back home. El perrito caliente. Gracias, Billy.
De nada, abuelo.
That's good. Look, Billy, we're coming up on the Rio Grande.
El Rio Grande. Grandpa, did you know the Rio Grande starts all the way out in Colorado?
Is that so?
And like 100 years ago, it used to be all dried up in some places, and sometimes it didn't even make it all the way to the Gulf of Mexico.
I didn't know that.
It's okay now, though. They got rid of all the stupid dams and irrigation pumps and stuff they used to use. I've been reading about it.
Well, there it is, in all its glory. Here, Billy, sit by the window so you can see better.
Wow!
Oh, it goes so fast. I kind of wish they'd slow the train down for the crossing.
That was fast.
We'll see it again on our way back. Well, that means we've crossed the border. We're officially in Mexico.
It doesn't look any different.
Well, of course it doesn't look any different. Watch out. There might be CBP agents on the train asking for papers. Dad, I'm just joking around. It's not funny.
I don't get it.
Well, Billy, when I was a boy, Dad, you couldn't cross the border without showing your papers. And if you didn't have the right papers, they wouldn't let you in. Dad, especially going the other way from Mexico into the United States. They'd arrest us and put us in cages. Dad! And they'd separate us. You in one cage in one building, and your dad and I in another cage in another town hundreds of miles away. Dad, seriously.
Why would they do that?
It's okay, Billy. We're fine. Nothing's gonna happen to us. Dad, I swear. Well, I'm sorry.
What are borders for, anyway?
Borders? Oh, they're nothing really. It's just so you know you're going from one country into another country.
But isn't that just like going from one neighborhood into another neighborhood? Like when we go over to Pete's Fruits, we're going from River West to Harambee.
Well, that's exactly what it's like, Billy. Exactly.
When I was a little kid and I looked at a map, I thought the lines on the map were big walls.
Yeah, I suppose all of us think that when we're little kids. Well, as a matter of fact, speaking of walls, that's enough, Dad. Oh, all right.
Look at the sky, Grandpa. Aren't those cool colors?
Well, they sure are. Will you look at that? Yep, looks like it's going to be a beautiful sunset. We should be getting into Monterey just as the sun is setting. That'll be nice.
Will we have time to go to Barrio Antiguo tonight, Dad?
Sure, we'll have plenty of time. It's right next to where the train drops us off.
I was reading about it, Grandpa. Did you know some of the buildings there were built way back in the 17th century?
Well, how about that? That sure is Antiguo, all right. Ha!
I still don't understand about borders and countries. Why do we even have them anyway?
Oh, it really doesn't mean much anymore, Billy. It's just so people have a sense of where they are and where they're from.
But why does that matter so much?
Well, it's nice to know about your family history, isn't it? Where your grandparents and great-grandparents came from.
Yeah, I guess. But I think it's more important where you are right now.
Well, right you are, Billy.
I mean, if we wanted to live here in Mexico, or over in Europe or China, we could just go live there, right?
Of course. Just like people from all over the world come and live in Milwaukee, even right in our neighborhood. See, Billy, the whole idea of borders and countries came out of the money days. Here we go again. Now, don't take that attitude, Pat. He's asking. All right. You see, Billy, in the old days of money, people got very connected to the idea that they owned the place where they lived and that they had to keep other people out.
Why did they want to keep people out?
Remember how I was telling you last week about how money tended to concentrate in some neighborhoods and some towns, while other neighborhoods and towns became very poor and run down?
Yeah?
Well, it was the same way with countries, but even worse. There were rich countries and poor countries, and the people in the poor countries would naturally want to go to the richer countries, where there were more opportunities.
Because they had to make money to live, right?
Well, that's right.
So why didn't they just move to a rich country?
Well, they tried to, but the rich countries would put up walls and make all sorts of laws about borders and such, and laws about who could and couldn't live in their country.
That's not fair.
Well, of course it wasn't fair.
So once you got rid of money, that fixed everything?
Well, some people held on to some old ideas about race and religion for a while, but those problems faded away. Yep, money was really at the heart of the problem.
So now borders are pretty much just lines on a map.
Well, that's right, Billy. Pretty much just lines on a map. Anyone in the world can travel wherever they want and live wherever they want.
But wouldn't people want to live in nicer places and then make them too crowded and then not nice anymore?
Well, that's a good question. But you kind of answered it yourself. If a place starts to get too crowded for its own good, people naturally adjust. And since all people are free to go wherever they want, it just balances out, making every place nicer.
Oh, that makes sense. I get it.
You know, that's a profound statement you made there, Billy.
What?
You just said, I get it.
So?
Well, when I was a boy, all the rules and laws about money and countries and borders and whatnot were so complicated, nobody understood them. Not even the people who wrote the laws, let alone the rest of us. The laws were thousands of pages long, and lawyers and politicians would fight over them endlessly. The way my generation figured it, after the revolution, whatever laws we would have ought to be simple enough for any 10-year-old to understand. After all, everybody has to live under the laws. It seemed only fair that we ought to be able to understand them.
Yeah, I get it.
Yep, you sure do. Next stop, Monterey. It happened in Monterey a long time ago.
Canta, abuelo.
It happened
Canta.
in Monterey in old Mexico.